This episode was recorded on February 13th. Welcome to the Polytopian Interviewer, where I interview people on their experiences and views on the Polytopia community. I have Thorin with me today. How are you?
Hello, I'm well.
Personally, I'm just amazed at how many Europeans are in the game.
Well, I guess it's kind of natural seeing how the company is European too.
Yeah, true. Do you want to start with how you first got into the Polytopia Discord?
Sure. I joined about a year and a half ago, so I don't really remember how I joined, but judging on my first messages, I guess I looked up how to report bug or a hacker and then joined and immediately reported about those guys having partial hack scores, which of course wasn't clear at all because it's totally obvious and I'm not the first guy to say that at all. I guess that's why I joined.
Okay. What are some of your responsibilities of being a director on main?
That's kind of hard to say because the director role is undergoing a change right now, so I'm not too sure what the responsibilities will be afterwards, but I think there won't be too much changing. It's just the directors mainly work on events and tournaments and not really anything else. So we just get to organize some of the little tournaments, and we are working on that, but we got to wait with our tournament until the rework is finished or something like that.
So the Polytopia Summer Skirmish would be managed by directors and other people?
Yeah, exactly. That was managed by directors, although I didn't have time when the Summer Skirmish was taking place, so I didn't help with that.
Okay. Would you be able to tell us what your nickname Sword God is about?
That was something that developed in the Yadak tribe chat. It was at the time that Henry was the tribe leader, and there was a bit of role playing there. It ended with someone trying to usurp his position and becoming the new tribe leader, and me heroically fending them off, and then I was bestowed the title Sword God by Henry.
So you vanquished them with a sword then?
Exactly.
That's cool.
But there's not really anything related to Polytopia about it.
How did you become a mod for the Giants League?
Is it okay if to answer the question, I also tell you how the Giants League on Discord came to be?
That's
Could
fine.
be a little bit of a longer story. So I'm part of the Sparky team, and the team leader of the Sparkies wanted to make a server for tournaments dedicated to FFA without having heard about the Giant League that already existed on Facebook before. And so he got in touch with some of our Luckies, including me, and wanted to hear if we were up to creating this server together with him. We said yes, and then Thomas joined him, and he told us about the Giants League on Facebook. So we at first tried to make pretty much the same because we sounded the concept was pretty cool. And so we kind of made part of the copy, but they had this Google sheet going for them, and we didn't really know how to make that. So it was first set up with a bot just like that. And then we got in touch with Zoe, and he told us that the people who run the Giants League on Facebook also thought about transitioning to Discord. So then we got in touch with those two and told them that we were working on the server, and they said that's cool. And we obviously didn't want two servers dedicated to pretty much the same thing. So we decided to just work together on it. And that's how the cooperation between our team and those mods from the Facebook Giants League came to be.
So how closely tied would you say the Giants League and the Facebook League are?
I think we're pretty close. It's just that the League is without diplomacy, as you might know, and it's only managed by MP and Gulord as far as I know. And so I and a lot of the other mods don't really have to do anything with that. And that's because it's far easier to manage than the Discord League, because in Discord there are a lot of messages we have to look into, because there are certain rules to the diplomacy and so on. I guess it's closely tied because it's two of them are the same mods and it's mainly the same rules except for the diplomacy. But then again, not as closely, since there are a lot of mods that only are there for the Discord League.
Okay. What are some of your responsibilities on the Giants League server?
For one, the mod team pretty much works together on most decisions. We also always discuss the rules before every season. We don't really like to change them in seasons. During the season, we only have small suggestions. And then when a new season is about to start, we all come together and kind of discuss which rules we want to change, what we think would cool to a cool new thing to be implemented. And with the many changes there always are to the game, we pretty much always have something to talk about. Like the skip function now has given us quite a lot of discussion. Other than that, it's just regularly checking all the messages in the Discord and looking if there are any rule breaches or something.
How many mods are on the team again?
9 mods, but some of them are more active than others, but most of them are actually pretty active. We're also going to recruit a few more helpers because it's just really a lot of messages to look through and we don't have infinite time.
What? Yeah, I totally understand. It's fun, at least for me, to do the comparison of mod team sizes because I've run a server called Friendly Polytopia, and we just recently went to 4 mods. We had 3 mods for the longest time, and it worked pretty well. But now that things have expanded a bit and we're about 250 members now, having a 4th mod, especially since he's online almost all the time, that really helps.
I mean, it's also different with what the mods really are responsible for. Like, with your server, you probably don't have to look through 64 channels regularly to see if there's anything wrong there.
No, I mean, maybe general, but it's mainly just me going through and adding a bunch of stuff and making sure all the permissions are configured correctly and whatnot.
Yeah, also, it's with us, it's the problem that we need mods from different divisions, because when there's something amiss in our own division, we have established that you yourself don't get to vote on that because you might be biased. Only the mods from the other divisions decide about that.
I take it you enjoy being in a lot of tournaments yourself then?
Yeah, sure. What I like about tournaments is that you automatically meet other players that are around about the same strength as you are, and you get to regularly play amount of games depending on how many tournaments and which tournaments, of course, you join. You get to play an amount of games that, so to say, never changes, and you don't have to look for those games yourself, and it's just to keep a certain amount of games running, basically.
Do you want to talk about how you first got into the Sparkies?
It's kind of funny. I was only on main for the longest time, and I made my way up to veteran pretty quickly. And then I got this invitation to Poly Champs, and it sounded so competitive that I didn't want to join. Then I still was on main during that time, so I got to know a lot of people there. And then finally someone convinced me to join Poly Champs. I don't know who it was anymore, to be honest. Several people already knew me from main when I joined Poly Champs, and I actually got requests from several teams if I wanted to join them. I think the first to ask me were actually Bombers, but they were actually quite bad at the time. They also didn't really, I mean, at least not really that I knew of. They didn't have any players I deemed really good that I didn't already play a lot with. So next to ask me were the Sparkies. After I talked to Karin for a bit, he seemed to be a really nice guy, so I told him I'd join them. After that, I was also asked by Ross if I wanted to join Craw. I guess if she had asked me earlier, I might have joined them instead, because Ross had also taught me quite a few things back on main when I still was in the Yadak tribe, and Ross was as well. But I'm still happy with my decision to go with the Sparkies. They're a very relaxed and funny team.
Want to share any memorable games or moments on the team?
It's not really a season game that I remember the most. It's a game that was in the Tiny Tourney, where you played 2v2s on tiny maps. It's a game I always kind of feel bad about mentioning, because it was a team of pros and juniors, and there were some requirements to ELA or something. And so I played with Call Me Susan, and there was one time I was able to recommend Susan a move, and he kind of misunderstood me or something and did something different, and that actually led to us losing the game, and we might have won instead. So he always apologizes for that to me, and it was like literally the one time where I could feel better than him. So that's why I remember that game.
I take it your favorite tribe is Yadak then?
I really like them, and I like how fast you can expand with them and just to level your roads with them, but I'm not sure if they're my favorite tribe to play with.
So just for the community mainly then?
I don't know. The main server is the Yadak tribe is actually pretty quiet. It's not like there's been a lot of talk, but I've also not been too active on main in the recent year, I'd say. So I guess the tribe and I fit from our activity.
Okay. Do you have a least favorite tribe?
I don't want to say Aquarian, but I guess Aquarian it is, because it's just, I hate how slowly their economy is starting. It's terrible. That's probably why I enjoy playing that tribe the least. I mean, even Omarji is better at getting the economy started, even though they don't really have any resources going for them. And Aquarian doesn't even have any good music to balance it out.
Yeah, I suppose that is a pretty big factor.
Indeed.
So I take it your favorite unit is not the Tridentian. Do you have a favorite unit?
The Tridentian is pretty nice if you can afford it. I don't really have a favorite unit, at least not based on its utility. I mean, knights are, of course, always a good thing to have, but are they my favorite? I don't think so.
How would you say you distribute your time on the Polytopia community, like the different servers and your modding responsibilities?
Well, as I said, I haven't been active on main for quite a long time. I still send some messages there every now and then, but I would be active if the director discussion actually was active. As I said, tournaments are getting postponed until they have done something. I'm not actually really sure what we're waiting for, but I'm sure Zoe will tell us when we can get started or something. And other than that, I am the most active on Giants League for obvious reasons. On Polychamps, I'm also not talking too much. I have the notifications on for the event organizer talk, but that's about it. I mean, if someone's talking there, of course, I will join if they need my help, but my time is often preoccupied and I don't really have time to help out there, so I'm not really too active on Polytrams. The Sparky server is a different story. I'm moderately active there. I mean, in my games, I'm obviously very active, although right now, because they're all paused.
Mm-hmm.
But when the games get going again, I'll be there pretty often. And other than that, I guess my most active Poly server is the Polytopia beta server, because I'm in the Steam beta and testing the new tribe there.
Yeah, I am as well. It's pretty cool, though I still have yet to figure out how balanced it is.
Yeah, I wasn't able to really test it in multiplayer yet either, so yeah, it's kind of cool, but I really wonder how well it actually does.
So I did say they planned to balance it out in the future. They just didn't really say how.
Yeah.
Kind of like what
I
they
mean,
did for Polaris.
yeah, well, I mean, they also say they want to rework Aquarian, so I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows how long that's going to take.
They did make a tweak for the crabs from 30 to 40 health points, but they're so slow they're pretty much useless.
Yeah.
There was one game where I was actually kind of afraid of a crab. I was like Hoodrick. It was a 3-player free-for-all, and my opponents were Zibasi and Aquarian. So I'm just like going along, expanding, getting lumber huts and stuff, and oh, there's Aquarian terrain. I don't have sailing yet. Here comes amphibians hitting my archers and warriors and stuff. Here comes a crab that's taking my coastal city. Yay, the one time I'm actually scared of a crab. Because I didn't have catapults yet.
The problem with crabs is also that they would be alright if you could get them early, but with Aquarian economy, that's just basically impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing they have going for them is they can advance kind of quickly by killing one of your units and then using escape to move further forward, but
Yeah,
most of the time not really helpful.
in my experience, I've almost never used that skill.
Yeah, same. It's just terrible that you can't put them into boats.
Well, wouldn't you just spend a ton of stars and not really get much benefit then, besides movement?
If you use jet battleships, I don't think that's just a waste of stars. So if you could do the same with crabs, I think it would help them. I mean, if the crabs could go to ships and boats, they would also be far more able to better siege enemy coastal cities with them, because now you have to move one tile at a time towards the city, and by the time you reach the city, the crab will most likely be dead, or you will already have taken that city.
What I'd like to bring up, though, is the cost of stars. Assuming you could put the crab in a battleship, or you can just get 3 Tridentians with a star spare. So, I don't know. That might help balance it a bit. Not sure.
Yeah, that's true. Korean does have Tridentians that are very good on sea, but if you're going against a giant battleship, I think the best weapon is another giant battleship, and I don't really like killing a giant battleship, especially if the enemy has aquatism with Tridentians, because they do lose quite a bit of health there.
Yeah, I suppose.
I guess you might rather go for the Tridentians than for the crab battleship.
I mean, assuming you can't get the crab out soon enough, the 3 Tridentians would probably be a lot better, because with 3 units, you can have all 3 cover one front, or you can have one go off on like a side front and 2 to the front or something like that.
That's true. Putting the crab in a ship would be really good for its mobility, because right now it can take forever to get your crab to the front line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be well worth the stars.
Fair enough. Last question. What's your favorite part of the Polytopia fandom as a whole?
That's a tough one. I think my favorite part about the Polytopia community is asking for advice. It makes a big difference in how you play. When I first came to Polytopia, I really wasn't that good a player. Then I played a lot of 1v1s and gradually got better through those, but I didn't really become as good as I am today before I pretty much joined a team on Polychamps and got some very good advice there. So I think that's, for me, the best part of the community.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's necessarily my favorite part of the community, but I do agree that joining a team and interacting with others and coaching is greatly helps you get better at the game.
I enjoy getting better at the game a lot. So that's probably why I like that part of the community. I'm also someone who, when I see this game, I immediately wonder how the damage calculation and stuff like that actually works and movement. So I very quickly went and looked that up in the internet and used the Polytopia battle calculator from then on and stuff like that.
I didn't know that stuff existed either. And there's also a calculator based on Euclidean geometry to see if your ports would connect.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid though. They also said they were going to change that. I wonder when that will happen. Because, I mean, it's weird to have an algorithm with mathematics in this game which doesn't use Euclidean arithmetic at all in any other aspect.
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
I mean, if your knight has 3 movements and can move 3 diagonal tiles with it, why shouldn't your port be able to connect diagonally as it can vertically?
I don't know. I'm not a programmer for the game, so I can't answer that.
At least from what J.Fur said, it sounded like they didn't really intend it to be Euclidean or something.
Maybe that'll be in a future interview.
Maybe. I'd be looking forward to that.
All right. That's all I have.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Great to have you.
Have a nice evening.
It's afternoon for me, but yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye. As always, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, feel free to share it. For the text version, you can join my Discord in the description. I also have a YouTube channel where I play 1v1s and occasionally do tutorials. We'll be back next week. Bye!